Hi, the Roman to Byzantine rulers here. So you can see this image here on where Constantine moved that capital to Constantinople, right there on that little tiny bridge of land that's going to connect now what we think of as kind of Asia Minor and Greece and part of that Eastern Roman Empire and what we would consider a large portion of the Middle Eastern territory there. So Asia and Europe are now connected by land and connected by certain rulers. So you were going through the slides, you read about Constantine and his kind of early battles to gain into power. We know he converted everyone to Christianity. He joined an alliance with this Linnaeus in the east to try to help spread Christianity and gain his power. He had to defeat the army here of Maximus to be able to get his power and remain in control. He left his mark on the city by, again, creating this real Roman feel in it, bringing the forum-like idea, a Circus Maximus, kind of like a Colosseum, archwork, and really expanding the empire's trade within those cities. And we know that's going to be the foundation of why the eastern part of the empire is going to survive and the west is not. Having that trade, having that economic power. Because remember, one of our big problems in the west, or why we said the Rome fell in the first place, was not good economics, not good control of things, and leadership being very poor. But the east was able to not fall into those problems. He rebuilt the Circus Maximus and the Arch of Constantine. So he was building again that style of Roman architecture and incorporating some Middle Eastern Islam influences as well. Justinian's going to be one of the greatest Byzantine official rulers. Constantine was a Roman emperor, but actually led us into Byzantine having their power. And Justinian is not going to forget about the Romans, so he's going to incorporate some things from them as well. You read about him being involved in a revolt very early on in his reign, so he had to defeat many different groups of people that were against him. So you should have had that for your answer there. And he also was determined to rebuild it as well. So he wanted those bridges and public baths and parks and all those public works we learned about Rome, emphasizing Justinian wanted to rebuild and keep those grand. His Hagia Sophia was his great holy wisdom, it means in Greek, and he was going to rebuild this church to kind of be the architectural center point of Constantinople. With that rebuilding, he wanted to rebuild the control of the land around it. So he launched these military campaigns, and he takes back North Africa, Italy, and Spain. So even though we think of Italy as being part of Europe, when we talk about medieval Europe in our next unit, we're going to be focusing on more of those upper regions of Europe. Anything that really touches the Mediterranean still had some influence with the East and trade. So we should have had those two answers for that. But one of his most famous, I always remember Justinian, like a memory trick for me. I think Justinian justice. He wanted justice, he wanted rules, he wanted laws. And so he went to the Romans' laws and adapted them in making his Justinian's code. And that's really crucial for us because our whole legal system in the Western world and what will come later in our democratic ideas will be this concept of this legal system that is going to be set up from Rome through Justinian and then to us. So his code of laws we see as being influential and helping us found our laws in the Western world, including the United States. Okay, should have had those answers for that. And your key should have looked like that. Sorry, I had two Byzantine numbers. I must have copied it one too many times. Sometimes they hide behind each other. So just delete the extra one and make sure you know that Constantine was a Roman Empire and Justinian was a Byzantine. Okay. And then your quizzes you should have linked and copied there. So then you went on to watch your Islam video on Edpuzzle to give you a good introduction of the religion of Islam and the Muslims that follow it. And we again saw that coming into play in the Byzantine at the end, because they will be the main group that will come in and conquer them. We're going to see some different advancements as well from these groups of people, and be focusing on that the next couple of days. All right, miss you guys. Take care.